Everyone, this is Mr. Honia here to talk about environmental wellness. For today, you will have a set of notes that will follow along with this video, and then you'll have your assignment towards the end. You have 2 days to complete the assignment, or a full class day if you are on B day. All right, let's get started. Environmental wellness, we're going to be focusing on three aspects. We're looking at the natural aspects. In other words, what the environment looks like naturally, considering around you trees and grass and how basically the world is as you come in to see it. And then from there, we're going to be moving on talking about man-made environment because that is another important part. Man has entered the physical, green space, so to speak, and we've created our own structures, our own buildings, everything. So what does that look like? And then finally, we're looking at the daily interactions because believe it or not, the daily interactions that you have with people and the daily interactions among a group of people in a certain space creates a type of vibe and it creates a type of environment. And all of these things can influence your environmental wellness. So, looking at natural environment, this is always related to the earth and sustainability. So, one of the big questions you can always ask is, what are you doing to protect your planet, our planet? So, recycling and upcycling, for those of you who are not familiar with upcycling, it is where you take something that seemingly could be trash and then you make it into something better. So, for example, you hear about like Adidas and stuff that are taking recycled bottles and turning them into shoes and things of that nature. That can be an example of recycling and upcycling. So another thing is being mindful of your water usage, how much you're using water a day, being mindful of your carbon footprint, which is how many, um, which is how much carbon you're putting up in the air when you drive, or CFCs used from aerosol cans, anything of that nature. So being mindful of that, and then finally making sure that you throw away your trash or recycle. So it's just making sure that you're doing things to take care of the earth around you, to think about, what are you doing to create a sense of sustainability. Next, we have the man-made environment, which are man-made buildings, rooms, halls, etc. And this ensures that we're safe, clean, and conducive to fostering other forms of wellness. So, for example, we have our school. It's a man-made environment. So, is the classrooms that we have, are they safe? Is our campus safe? Is it clean? Does it foster other forms of wellness when we come in here? Do we feel socially well? Do we feel physically well? Do we have those aspects that foster things. And then on top of that, thinking about when you walk into, maybe, so for example, let's say you walk into a store. Do do you feel safe when you're in there? Is the store clean? And then also thinking about, does it foster other forms of wellness as well as providing you what you need? And then, also another example would be, for example, your own house. Do you feel safe in your house? Is your house clean? Are you taking care of the physical space? So things you can do to improve this is once again making sure that you're picking up trash, making sure that you're not vandalizing and being free of vandalization, and then making sure that you're using things as intended. We could always take a smart board and break off the board from the wall and then slide it down a hill and ride on it like a sled, but that's the thing. That's not how it's intended to use. And if we want to continue to have it in the environmental space and use it as it needs to be, we need to use it as intended. And then finally, if something is broken, fix it. That's one of the key things of man-made environment, to make sure that we're still using it properly and fostering the uses intended. So Northwestern, how would you rate the environmental wellness of Northwestern? So the safety of the building, the cleanliness of the building, the up to date, or even the vibe that a visitor may get when seeing our school. So when they come to Northwestern, what vibe do you think someone may get if they've never been here before? And these are going to be things that you guys are going to be thinking about for your assignment later on. And then finally, we have the daily interactions with others, which people are part of your environment. and they affect your emotional, spiritual. They affect you emotionally, spiritually, physically, socially, mentally. If you've got people in your classroom that are saying that they're gonna try to beat you up after school, that could affect you emotionally. That obviously can make things mentally tough for you because you're worried about what's going to happen instead of your schoolwork. That's going to not sit well with your spirit. And then socially, obviously that's not the best form of social wellness. So this is all part of the environmental wellness. So how you increase your environmental wellness is you want to surround yourself with good, supportive people that are going to support you in doing in being the best version of yourself. Avoid negative, uncontrolled, chaotic situations. Prime example of this would be getting into a fight. If you see that there's a fight going on at the school, don't run to it. Run away from it, avoid it, don't be involved with it. Like I said, because those situations can be extremely negative, they can also be very uncontrolled and chaotic. And then finally, basically showing respect for everyone, treating others as they deserve to be treated, and hopefully so they will return the favor. So, how does this apply to sports? Well, it's very much a big thing when it comes. So, for example, the environment is a major factor. If you think about football, what do we want our natural environment to look like? What do we want our man-made environment to look like? And how do we expect the interactions with others to be? So here is a photo of California Memorial Stadium. It is actually built right on a fault line, which means, with the plate tectonic shift, basically, that stadium is coming down. And, we think about the man made environment that exists around it. The reason it exists on the fault line and has not been moved is that they have actually gone through and made sure that there are procedures and construction in place to make sure that if something bad should happen, that everyone in the stadium should be safe, and then that the stadium should be able to withstand any earthquake. So as you see right here in the photo to the right, the fault line actually goes right down the center of the field. So just want to make sure you guys understand that this is an environment. Could be a great place to play football. Could be wonderful. Some people may be a little uneasy because it's right on top of a fault line, but you know in order for them to play, they need to make sure that they're doing properly and taking care of that environment. Another thing that comes with man-made environment is equipment, because you want to make sure that you have the proper equipment when you play. This right here is a picture of a gentleman who played pro football, and when he was playing at one point, a referee actually threw a penalty flag, and rather with it being filled with like soft pellets or rice or something like that, it was actually filled with BBs, and it actually went through the player's helmet and popped him right in the eye and basically blinded him. And there was a huge law. There was a huge deal in regards with the law and somebody suing people, and it's just been wildly insane. But the thing about it is you talk about the importance of equipment. That whole situation could have been avoided if the equipment um, was filled differently, if the equipment was taken care of differently, and if it was properly used. And then lastly, just the question, how do you expect other players and fans to conduct themselves during the game? Here it's like we're now in a place where, we are living through COVID-19. And, one of the things that we're talking about, now is thinking about social distancing in the stands. Are we expecting our fans to be socially distant? Are they supposed to wear a mask for the protection of themselves, for the protection of the players, for the protection of the coaches? Another thing we're going to be looking at with that as well is looking at how players conduct themselves on the field. They could easily, emotions run high. People get angry. We need to have players conduct themselves in a sportsmanlike manner. And if that doesn't happen, that's going to also infect the environment in the stadium. So just want to let you know that those are ways that the fan-to-fan interaction, the fan-to-player interaction, the player-to-player interaction interfere with someone's environmental wellness. So for your assignment today, you have the Northwestern Environment Rankings. If you are on B Day, you will obviously complete this tomorrow and we'll go and take care of this in class. And then if you are virtual, you will do your before and after chart. But this is all I have for today. You guys take care. Have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you soon.